The ISIS threat, of course, and also the Secret Service issue. California Senator Barbara Boxer, a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, we are going to be going to the UN shortly when Prime Minister Netanyahu is speaking, as you will understand. I wanted to ask you about the war, first of all, and the fact that the President acknowledged having underestimated the ISIS threat, the growth of ISIS, and also overestimated the Iraqi army's ability to withstand that threat. What do you make of this so many years after 9/11 with 16 intelligence agencies?
Clearly, we don't want to miss anything, but we're human beings, and we do. And I think the fact that the President is being honest with the people, as opposed to other presidents in the past that really didn't say it the way it was, is a good thing. And the fact is, we would have to confront ISIL anyway at a certain point in time. Now, we just had a situation where you had that group Khorasan, and we went after them very early, and there was criticism from some in the press. Who is this group? Did they make it up? So, you know, you can't win one way or the other. If you act early, people are shocked, and why did we do it? If you act later, they say, got it wrong. The main thing is the President has a strategy, and BBC has a headline today that it seems to be working in Iraq, where they've pushed back ISIL. And I think we ought to focus on that. The President's put together a coalition between 40 and 50 nations, and he's working with boots on the ground that are not our boots on the ground. And so far, so good.
Now, a plurality of Americans in our latest NBC News Annenberg poll does support boots on the ground, 45 to 37. Does that change the calculation of lawmakers, and will that have an impact on the midterm elections?
I don't think so. If you look at the way the question was asked, it says, if the American military said this is the only way to stop ISIL, would you support it? And even at that, it's a weak 45%. So, no. I think the American people want us to do this the way the President laid it out. We can always look in the future if it isn't working. But now with Turkey saying they're going to get more involved, and we'll have to see what their legislature does. This is really the world against ISIL, and that's the way I want to see it go. It's the way the American people want to see it go, and it's the way the President is leading us.
Senator, I want to ask you about the Secret Service issue,
Sure.
because nothing is more important to the American people than the safety of the President and his family. And to discover how lax the Secret Service was, we know they are such a trusted agency. They've had their problems over the years, but if they're fooling around in Cartagena, I'm not as upset before he arrives as I am at bullets hitting the Truman balcony and right near the Yellow Oval Room where the first family lives, and not being discovered for 4 days.
It's a shocking story, and I could just say this: when you look at what their mission is, the Secret Service mission is at the White House, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's just protect the President and his family and figure out the best way to do it. And to think that this was so mishandled and that it actually occurred, it's very worrisome to me. And clearly, Congress is going to get involved. They're already calling some hearings, and that's important. We should do our oversight. But in all sincerity, it's a very simple, straightforward mission. It's the White House, it's the family, and there's got to be a better way to deal with it than they're dealing with it now. And as you point out, perhaps they've made some major changes. And we can't talk too much about the changes. Obviously, we don't want to let everybody know what they do. But if this wasn't a wake-up call, I don't know what could be.
I wanted to play a little bit for you of a former Secret Service agent who describes the complacency that can take hold when you're waiting for something to happen. It doesn't happen. It's a Friday night. Only the first daughter is home. The first parents are in Hawaii. Let's play this a little bit.
How does that happen?
Complacency. If you think about it, day after day you're there, day after day typically nothing ever happens. And then also the idea of the shooting that actually took place almost to the complete opposite side. It's on Constitution Avenue, and it's the inability to connect those dots. And then in addition to that, it's also failure in the chain of command. And when you have supervisors not really listening to the people underneath saying, you know, this is what I saw.
That's really the most troubling thing. You had a woman agent on the South grounds saying, I heard shots. She goes for a gun box. She goes to pull out a shotgun. And her supervisor overrules her, and she's afraid to argue with him.
Well, that is a very frightening thought, that there would be that much complacency, and the culture is such that if somebody is concerned, they're disposed of. They're not listened to. But listen, if you're a complacent person, you don't belong in this first responder business. I mean, what if our firefighters were so complacent because they don't have that many fires, and then a fire breaks out and they don't know what to do? You have to be a certain type of person, and there has to be a certain type of training. There has to be a certain type of culture, and every day you have to go to work assuming something bad's going to happen. That's the mindset you have to have, because your job is so important.
Great analogy, the firefighter analogy. Thank you so much, Barbara
Thanks.
Boxer. Thanks, Senator.
Okay.
And we will be bringing you